Hi, my name is Sophia and I'm CEO and President of Creative Media Enterprises, a design and marketing firm that specializes in physical and digital solutions for individuals, startups, and established businesses. Today I'm going to introduce you to Twitter Bootstrap, an HTML, CSS, JavaScript framework that's used for front-end development. In this video, we will learn to set up a local development environment for hand coding and testing our web projects. Additionally, we'll learn how to structure an HTML document, get familiar with some basic Bootstrap components, and close out the course by creating our very own personal web-based resume. Sound good? Great, let's get started.
Step 1. Download software and files. In your web browser, navigate to www.creativemediaenterprises.com. Click on Learn and select Skillshare. Click on number 1. Build a simple online resume using HTML, CSS, and Twitter Bootstrap. Download files from the download bar. At the end of your download, you should have 4 files. Step 2. Install software. In addition to a text editor, you should also have a copy of Google Chrome or any other web browser that has developer tools. In general, a web browser is necessary because it will allow you to preview the code you've been working on. Most developer tools allow you to simulate different formats of a web application, including desktop, mobile, and tablet. Step 3. Install and set up MAMP. Go ahead and open the MAMP _5.2.pkg file in your Downloads folder. Follow the prompts to install the software. Navigate to the Applications folder. Locate the folder entitled MAMP. Find or create the folder htdocs. Inside htdocs, create a new folder called Bootstrap-Resume. Step 4. Set up Bootstrap file structure. Copy the file assets-dist-images-vendor. Open the folder htdocs and place the zip file inside the folder Bootstrap-Resume. Unpack the zip file, and voila! You have the basic Bootstrap files needed for this project. Go ahead and delete the zip file. Lastly, make sure to move the files inside the assets-dist-images folder into the root folder entitled Bootstrap-Resume. Then go ahead and delete the empty assets-dist-images folder. Step 5. Structuring an HTML document. Now that we have our Bootstrap files in place and we have MAMP installed, we can move on to setting up the foundation of our HTML document. From within Sublime Text, navigate to File and click on Open. Make sure the folder Bootstrap-Resume is selected. Click on Open. In the sidebar on the left, you'll see the folder Bootstrap-Resume. You'll also see the contents of that folder. Go to File and select New File. Name that file index.html. Introducing the HTML5 Doctype. What is a Doctype declaration? A Doctype declaration is not an HTML tag. It's an instruction to the web browser about what version of HTML the page is written in. A Doctype declaration must be the very first thing in your HTML document. Go ahead and type the HTML5 Doctype in the first line of your code. The HTML element. After the Doctype declaration comes the HTML element. The HTML element is what wraps the entire content on the web page. It is sometimes referred to as the root element. All web elements begin with an opening tag and end with a closing tag. The HTML element is written as follows. Next comes the head of the HTML document. This contains the metadata. Take a moment to write the code as it appears in this screencast. The code from this file and all subsequent code is available for download on the course page in Skillshare. Simply find the appropriate attachments. Under the gray text entitled Bootstrap Core CSS, you'll find a link with a reference to the bootstrap.min.css style sheet. This style sheet comes with the Bootstrap installation that we completed in Step 4. CSS files, or style sheets, are important. They describe the particular look and feel of a website. A bit further in this tutorial, we will be adding other style sheets. We'll place these under the reference to the file bootstrap.min.css. We'll follow the same format as the HTML code above the red line indicates. The body element. Immediately after the closing tag of the head element comes the body element. The body element is written as follows. The HTML body tag that comprises the body element contains the main content of the HTML document or web page that you are working on. Let's go ahead and save our index.html file. Make sure to delete the words index.html at the top of the document, then press save. Inside the body element. The header. The header element comes after the opening body tag. The header element itself begins with an opening tag and ends with a closing tag. Go ahead and place the header element below the opening body tag. Do it just as it's indicated in the screencast. Introducing the navigation element, or nav for short. Inside the header element, we usually begin by defining the navigation. I encourage you to go to getbootstrap.com, go into the documentation section, click on Components, and locate the navbar documentation. The documentation of the navbar component will give you valuable examples for Bootstrap's powerful responsive navigation header, the navbar. For the purposes of this tutorial, we'll use the following code to define the navigation and navbar. Go ahead and copy the navbar code as it appears in this screencast. Feel free to pause the video so that you have enough time to do this. Next comes the main element. The main tag specifies the main content of the document. The content inside the main element should be unique to the document. It shouldn't contain any content that is repeated across the documents, such as sidebars, navigation links, copyright information, site logos, and search forms. Just like all the other elements, the main element begins with an opening tag and ends with a closing tag. Go ahead and write in the main element as shown on the screencast. The intro section. Next comes the first section in the main element. We'll call it the intro section. Go ahead and write the intro code as shown in the screencast. You can pause the video if you need to. Creating styles. Go to File, select New File. Name this file main.css. Pop in the following code. Go ahead and save the file, and at the top of the page, delete the line that says main.css. Go back to the index file, navigate to the top of the page, copy and paste the code that is referencing the bootstrap.min.css file, and modify it to reference the main.css file we just created. Download styles. Let's go ahead and download the remaining CSS files. Simply locate the zip file entitled bootstrap-resume-styles. You can find this file in the Attachments section on the course homepage in Skillshare. Once you've downloaded the file, copy and then paste the zip file into the bootstrap-resume folder. Unzip the file to reveal its contents. Select the contents and move these files into the bootstrap-resume root folder. Go ahead and delete the folder and zip file entitled bootstrap-resume-styles. You should be left with 4 new files. This does not include the main.css file or the index.html file. Referencing styles. Next, let's reference the new style sheets in the index.html file. Now that we have our style sheet references in place, let's move on to the skills section. The skills section. Take the time to write the code from the skills section we just pasted. Consider the process a form of learning and study. The timeline or experience section. This code is a little bit too long to screenshot, so we suggest that you open the index.html file from the course attachments and navigate to the timeline section to copy the code from there. Next comes the footer. Please note that the footer comes after the closing main tag of the main element. Step 6. Preview our site in a local environment. Open MAMP. Start servers. Now that we've entered the footer, let's go ahead and preview our website. Go ahead and type localhost 8888, then select Bootstrap Resume. It looks good, but let's go ahead and add some finishing touches. Step 7. Adding our JavaScript. Our JavaScript references come at the very end of the page, after the footer, but before the closing body tag. Go ahead and take a moment to copy the JavaScript references. Step 8. Adding simple line icons and font awesome. Simple line icons and font awesome can be written after the CSS files are referenced. Go ahead and pause the video to copy these lines of code. Step 9. The HTML mail to function. At the end of the timeline section, replace the word contact with the following code. Note that you must enter your email address in the appropriate section of the code. Step 10. Lastly, we have the timeline images. These images are entirely optional, but in some cases they may be appropriate. From the Skillshare course webpage, download the file timeline-images.zip. Go ahead and copy that file and paste it inside the folder Bootstrap-resume. Go ahead and open that zip file to reveal the folder About, which contains 4 images. Then create a new folder called IMG. Move the About folder into the IMG folder. Go ahead and delete the timeline-images.zip file. Now that we're just about finished, let's preview the final version. Please stay tuned for follow-up videos.